So, as you have seen, I couldn't start that thing. It's completely dead. Came driving yesterday, was running, and it didn't even have power now to open the car. I don't know, it's a little bit strange to be the battery, but I'm going to test the battery anyway. Take it off. If it is the battery, again, you guys know, I will not touch it until he brings me a brand new battery, and that's it. Oh damn it, the car didn't even came for this. Why oh man. Right, let's try to do something. And there we have it, disconnected. Right, let me pull it out and see how old the battery is, because the battery doesn't look that old. I mean, it's dusty, etc., but I want to see if this is an old battery, or is the car discharging the battery? We have a problem electrically. Who knows? Oh man, I hate when a car comes for one thing and I start to find other issues. It's really annoying. So as I said, it's a relatively new battery. I'm actually surprised it's a Jaguar and Land Rover battery, because surely this battery installed a Land Rover is not cheap. The battery is actually marked on the underside on the plastic molding on the case. Is marked injected in 12/2023. Sorry, 12/2022. So even if the battery was on the shelf for a couple of months, let's say beginning of 2023, we are now mid-Feb 24, so the battery is just over a year old, and this starts to lead me to think that maybe we have a battery drain on that thing, and I was not told anything about that. So I'll have to ring the guy, see why he didn't tell me these things, or what the heck's going on, and try to understand what to do next. And a little bit later, the guy brought me actually two batteries, but when I looked at that, both batteries were the same spec. The other one is a Varta, both brand new batteries, but that one, the guy was not sure. That one looks a little bit too big, so I put the other one in. It started straight away, no problems at all. And as you can see, those are the faults: suspension fault and restricted performance. Now, the guy only asked me to look at the suspension. He never mentioned nothing about restricted performance or anything like that. The initial request for this car was to look at the suspension. So that's what we're going to focus on this video. If anything of that it'll make into another video, I will obviously capture that on a different video. I could swear yesterday I've seen something about the coolant level. I checked the coolant this morning, was okay, and there's no faults today for that, so I'm not really 100% sure. As you can see, there's no other lights on the dash apart from that suspension fault. So let's gonna focus on the suspension. So let's gonna plug in the maxi sys and try to understand what's wrong. And I completely forgot to mention the car. As you can see, is a Range Rover Sport HSE, the L320, 2010, with the V6 3-liter diesel, and that's the car. Quite a bit battered, to be honest with you. A lot of things I've seen, a lot of things wrong. I believe the parking sensors are not working either. I've seen other issues, but we're not going to focus on that on this video. So let's gonna go for my suspension. So suspension is gonna be I've done so many of these and I keep forgetting. So all-terrain, I don't think it's the all-terrain, but let's gonna go there. I think this is a different module for that, for the suspension. No codes. I thought it was not this. It's gonna be a different module, which is gonna be, I'm looking through the ride level control module. I believe this is the one. Indeed it is. So, pressure increase too slowly when filling reservoir, compressor circuit, exhaust valve. So, yeah, the common pump failure, most likely. I do strongly believe the car doesn't drop. Of course, it's faults, so it's not going to drop. So, let me just see one thing here. Let me just turn ignition on. Let me see if the fault's clear. off and on. Ignition off. Ignition back on. Okay, so it's gonna be it's actually good when we have this, because that means we have two issues there that we know straight away we can go for it. When it's intermittent faults can be a little bit tricky. So guys, we all know what happens with these things. Let's gonna get to the compressor and see what we find wrong with it. Right guys, I know I'm laughing, but this is not really laughable, although it is laughable, to be honest with you. So I just thought to myself, okay, let's go to the compressor, quick inspection, blah blah blah. So I was pretty sure the compressor on these ones is on this side, underneath the rear door, or at the front of the rear wheel, if you will, on the passenger side. So I just thought, let me go there, quick inspection, just see what we have, etc. And the first thing I got when I got here was, I've seen these, look. I've seen, where are they? There they are. I thought, what the hell is that? And then I thought, that's the plugs for the pump. Then I looked and I thought, where is the pump? The pump is not even here. Oh man, honestly, oh, the things I get sometimes is just unbelievable. Now, my only thing is we can get a compressor for this, but if there is other issues, then I just don't understand why the car is actually quite leveled, if you will. It's not like, look at that, look at that. It's actually not too bad. I'm wondering, you see, the ride is not too bad. And let me just double check that no one has been changing suspensions. No, the bags are still there. Is that the airbags? Let me have a look. Yeah, they are. The airbags are still there. Oh my god, I can guess. This is just are they the normal airbags? I'm hoping they are. Because if we start to change these things and there is other issues, oh my god, it's gonna be a can of worms. It's gonna be an absolute can of worms. Some stuff hanging there, where that's supposed to... So the hair pipes are still connected to the bag, so that's fine. Where is the ride sensor for this thing? At the back. Should have some ride sensors here. Try to locate the things. Where are the ride sensors? I just don't want to open a can of worms if I start to change stuff on this. To then, oh, the sensor is there. It's right there. Okay, still connected. Okay, I'm just so scared of start to put a new compressor and then, as I said, open a can of worms and start to find 1,000 different things wrong. Front still airbags, yes, they're still there. The airline's still connected. Have a look. Yeah, it's still connected. The level sensor's still there. Yeah, it's still there. So everything's still there. Okay, I'll have to speak with the owner, because I'm not gonna start to replace this in case, if, as I said, if you open an absolute can of worms, because for that to be removed and the car stays at this level is really strange. I don't understand how they block this up, unless the valves, unless there's other stuff disconnected. How the hell is the car ride so leveled with no compressor? Usually these things, they just sit really low when there is compressor issues. Okay, I don't even know where to start. I really don't even know where to start. Right, let me speak with the owner, tell him what we're dealing with, and go from there. Oh, the glare. Right guys, a few days later we got... Oh, this is bad. This is bad. I got that. So that's what the owner brought me. As you can see, it's all used, and as you can see, it's more than one. It just said, see if you have one here that works, and look at that. I have, looks like a new bracket. Actually, the first time I've lifted this, looks like a new bracket for it. I have the cover. Just 1, 2, 3 compressors by the looks of it. I don't know where the guy got these from, but he got all of that. Looking at these again, I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I was under the impression that this thing, when it's fully lowered, the wheel sinks a little bit more into the wheel arch, and that's why I was a little bit like, what? The car is definitely low, but I don't know if this is the lowest as it goes. Well, regardless of that, all I'm going to do is quickly connect one of these, see which one is the correct one, if there is a correct one, and get it connected and see what happens. That's pretty much what we're going to do. And then we'll try to figure out what we're going to do with those pipes that have been cut. See if we can need to replace them, if we can connect them somehow, or just extend them somehow. I believe the ones they cut is the exhaust and the air intake for the pump, so they don't really need to be like sort of supporting pressure or anything like that. So we might be able to just somehow extend them or whatever, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So that's gonna lift the car, jack up the thing on the other side, so I can get a good access underneath and start to do some work. And all I'm getting myself into is more work and more work. So definitely someone's been trying to do something with this, because these parts are matching the car. So that is a broken bracket, the rest is in there somewhere. There is the rest in there. So that seems to me like the original bracket. Someone couldn't take it out and just broke it in order to take the pump, and bought a brand new one to replace it. It's an aftermarket, there's no Land Rover or anything marks, but it is the right one. So it looks like someone broke the original one, bought that one in order to try to fix it. Now, one of these pumps, I'm gonna guess, is the original pump from the car. I don't know which one, but I have a wild guess. But before we get to that, so that is definitely not for this car. That pump is the wrong one. These ones are definitely for this car, and I think the one that came from the car is this one here. One, look at that, all these brackets are bent. This one as well. I already took the rubber mounting, but look at that, it's all smashed up, and is the one that has the pipes cut. See, this one doesn't. It is, the brackets are straight, as you can see on both sides. Okay, and on this side actually you have the hole in there, but that fitting there is missing, which is this bit here. So I'm guessing, even though there's some scrap marked yards in there, I'm guessing that's going to be the original pump. I don't know why, I might be wrong, but I think this is the original pump. I'm going to try to match the cut of these pipes with what's in there, because the last thing I want to do, as you can see, I'm going to have to try to do one good pump out of these two, if any of these pumps is good. Otherwise we might have to scrap both. When the guy dropped these, he said, oh, I brought you these because a new pump is about £600 or £700. So, well, if you want to fix it, there's no other way. But anyway, I understand he's trying to save some money, and I will give him some help with that, but we might be wasting all this time for nothing. But as I was saying, the last thing I want to do is just put the pump that came out, which is probably a bad pump. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run the pump on the bench, just connect the 12 volts in there, both of them, see if they run, activate the valve, the exhaust valve. So these pipes that have been cut is the pipes for the exhaust. So this is the exhaust valve. I'm pretty sure it is the exhaust valve, this one here. Yeah, this is the exhaust valve here. But there's a valve solenoid in there. This is the exhaust valve. That's the pipe that exhausts when the car needs to drop, and I believe that's going to be the air intake, the fresh, clean air from the filter into the pump. That's the way I'm looking at this. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but I think it is. So these pipes, they are not under pressure, so we don't need nothing too crazy. If we need to extend those pipes, as I said, we'll be able to do it. But at the moment, yeah, I'm going to try these pumps on the bench, see which one runs, and try to figure out which one is which, and we'll go from there. Let me show you what we've done so far. So far I removed these fitting from there to there. Unfortunately, I can't take this off. So what I'm planning to do, if this works, is I will just eat a little bit of the remaining pipe that's on the car, and I'll just slide it here on the outside, and hopefully that will seal, even if I need to put a couple cable ties or something like that. That should work. Worth to mention that this pump that had the pipes cut, so obviously this was there, 100% matched the angle on this pipe, the cutting. As soon as I put the pump in there, matched perfectly the angle of the cut. This is a little bit straight, but the other one was in an angle, and it matched absolutely perfect. It would have been a lot of coincidence that the pipes would have been cut on 2 different cars by probably 2 different people in the exact same angle. The angle matched perfectly, everything matched. So I believe this is the pump, and because it's all bent, the bracket in there, there's a broken bracket. Everything points that this couldn't come in off, and they just broke it to remove it. That's why how I'm looking at it. So I'm just going to show you that the exhaust valve, well, I don't know if it's sealing and whatever, but it definitely clicks. So let me show you this quickly. Are you going to be able to hear it? And you're also going to be able to see that the pump runs. How good the pump is, I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. So, just now actually, I've noticed that's a BMW compressor. Right, anyway, the pump is there. A little store, just connected there. Plugs, exhaust and intake, that doesn't really matter for now. And I'm just curious to give it a go. Start it, scan the car, and see what we have. Let's just start the ignition on and see if the compressor starts. No, it didn't. But we do not have the suspension fault anymore. Look. So obviously the car is now seeing that the compressor is there, so I'm guessing the compressor will start to run when we start the car. So let me hold on, let me load some live data first, and then we'll go from there to see exactly. I want to see exactly what the compressor is going to do from the start. I don't even know if that's a good compressor, which is, I can't even put the compressor in place because I don't know if it's good. But yeah, oh well, it is what it is. So my codes are now intermittent, which is good. It's clear there. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's gonna start this. My only concern is that the compressor might gonna fall off. So let me start it up and go quickly there. Yeah, it's running. Yeah, that's the intake. Let's quickly go to live data, see the pressures, see what the car is doing. There's no raise or anything yet, at least not at the front. I don't see the car raising, but the car will not raise with the doors open anyway. Pressures. Height doesn't matter. Gallery pressure 480, so that's going up, that's good. That's very good. Eye sensors. Level sensors are good, so that keeps going up, which is good. Can't even remember what pressure we should have on this gallery. Can't remember anymore. Reservoir valve current. Exhaust valve, pressure sensor blade voltage, Motor temperature sensor 4.47. Pressure sensor. Okay, where is the temperature? Oh, there it is. Compressor 58 degrees, 57. Motor temperature 69 degrees. Engine speed. Oh, this is the engine itself. Okay, so far I haven't seen nothing that stands out too much. Gallery pressure. I think the compressor stopped now. I think the compressor stopped. There is a fault for the suspension. I just came up on the dash. Okay, so that might be okay. Okay, because if you remember, the car was completely empty, so it is kind of normal that it's going to take a little bit. We hope we don't have any. Okay, so I heard the exhaust valve opening and the pump started again as soon as I clear the code. So I need to find out what pressure we should have. I've done a few of these and I can't remember what the pressure in the gallery should be. I don't know why, I think it's about 20 bars, but I might be wrong. Which should be about 2000 kilopascals, I think, is what the pressure is on. Where is the pressure now? Obviously the car is in the air, all tilted, so yeah, suspension fault again. Okay, 722. Okay, 777, sorry. Okay, let me reset this a little bit. Actually, let me come here, because it should have a thingy to fill the reservoir. You should have a thingy to maybe under service. Okay guys, let me see if I can fill this reservoir and the whole system, and then we'll see if we have any leaks. We'll go from there, one thing at a time. I'm here now for 4 minutes showing you this and there is no point, so we're going to try to see if we can fill the whole system and go from there really. Right, so I had to drop the car on the floor because, and the compressor now is on the floor, but look, you see that? Suspension will raise when system cold. So when I I think because the car was all on the air at the back, that was messing up the whole thing. So as soon as I dropped the car and I've selected the normal riding level, if you will, the rear of the car, let's see if I can show you, it raised straight away, as you can see if you compare with the before. It raised pretty much immediately, but then I got that warning about the cooling. So I guess because I've been insisting for so long with the compressor to fill the whole thing, I think just gave that warning. However, I must confess, we'll have to test this. I must confess that that compressor, it doesn't sound very good. It sounds like if it's in a lot of stress to build the pressure. So we're gonna wait for that to cool down a little bit. I don't have any warnings for over temperature. Let me see what my live data says. Let me actually do this just to quickly check for my temperature. So compressor temperature 51, motor temperature, so that's my problem there, is the motor is way too hot. The compressor is not, 50 degrees is fine, but the motor definitely will have to cool down a little bit. Oh, why did I come out of this? And now let me check my gallery pressure, 816. So at the moment the compressor is not putting any pressure into the system because it's off, and oh, compressor kicked in. Let me see if the front of the car is going to raise. Let me see. Vehicle raising in progress. Yeah, the front of the car is raising, but extremely slow. I think it should be a little bit faster. It's definitely raising, 100%. You can't, yeah, it's definitely going up. Maybe on the slow side, but it's going up. I think it stopped now. Because I opened the door, didn't I? Yeah, there he is, and he's leveled. It stopped. Yeah, it stopped. There he is, and he stopped. And he's level, and he's not flashy anymore. Let me see if I can raise it all the way up. There we go. Compressor kicked in. It's going up. Let's see what he's doing. Is it going up? Looks like it is. Let me go outside. Close the door, otherwise the car will not raise. It looks like it's going up really slow. I heard the exhaust valve. It looks like it stopped. Is that the right height now? It must have been. Let me see if it is or not. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's a full high now. So when that stops flashing, that means is at the right position. And looks like it's working. So maybe that compressor is good. I honestly don't like too much the sound of that compressor. When there, look at that. Actually, it didn't. It's not all the way up yet. Yeah, we'll have to let it cool down a little bit again. I'm not too impressed with this compressor, but let me have a look a little bit better, maybe. Yeah, let me think. If you're gonna keep that compressor, well, for the guy to bring me 2 used compressors, try to save money. If I tell him he's working, he's not gonna want to do anything, will he? So we might gonna give a little bit of a service to that compressor, dismantle it a little bit more, just to make sure it's working fine. Maybe give it some lubrication on the inside, and make it to try to see if it works a little bit more freely, and we'll go from there. But it looks like that was the only issue. It looks like there is no leaks. We'll have to obviously test it, but it looks like it was just a bad compressor. Look at that, you see? That's what I mean. Look how much the compressor is struggling to run. I think I have an idea. Am I gonna swap the motors and see what the other motor does? Maybe just dies the motor, I don't know. Oh damn it, he hasn't been pulled. No, it's fine, just the cardboard. He hasn't pulled anything in. So let's gonna dismantle this compressor and see what we can do with it. Been inspecting this as much as I can. Here on the piston is not rusty at all. It's actually rather quite clean. I put a little bit of lubricant in there, etc. Nothing crazy. I've been testing by running the pump and blocking this pipe here, and the pump builds a little bit of pressure, and then it starts to struggle, as you have seen on the floor. I think this pump is weak, but to be fair with you, that one does exactly the same thing. So it really looks like it's the motor itself. There is no leaks anywhere here. I already checked and triple checked. As soon as I block this up, the pump starts to struggle a little bit, or it starts, you can see the load on the pump, you can start to feel the load on the pump. Actually, let me show you that on the bench, because it's going to be easier for you guys to understand exactly what I'm saying. Otherwise you might just okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the pump, and I'm going to block this pipe here, which is the pipe that feeds the whole system. let me do like so. So the pump runs quite freely otherwise. There you go. It runs quite freely, as you can see. Okay. As soon as I block the pipe, you see. I don't know how much pressure it's giving. Actually, it will be interesting to see. Let me see if this gauge works somehow. Actually, I can do that with that. Let me see if I can measure how much pressure the pump is giving. Just out of curiosity. I'm not going to be able to do it though with what I have here, but I will try. I might be able to. I don't know how I'm going to show you all of this, but I will show you. I'm going to try to put this gauge on the pipe and run the pump and see how much pressure I can get out of it. And it stopped freezing. Okay, so. And I do apologize, the phone ran out of space, had to delete a few clips, but that's how much the gauge registered, about 2.5 bars. And I don't know, I have in my head that this thing should be able to put about 15 bars or 16 on that gallery. So something is not quite right, I think. I might be wrong. But we need to also remember that I was just putting the pressure right there where there is no accumulation whatsoever, but I'm under the impression they should give way more pressure. Regardless of that, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try to secure this on the car properly, and then I will test it up and down a few times, and we'll see how this is. If this doesn't work, he's gonna have to get me a new pump. He's gonna have to get me something that's gonna work, and that's all. So yeah, let's gonna do off camera because it's gonna take a little bit to put on the car now. I need to put this cover in place as well. So let's gonna do that and see what happens. And these guys is the primary example why I hate aftermarket stuff. So this bracket doesn't even come drilled. Well, it comes drilled, but it doesn't come tapped to put this bolt in there. Let me see if I can show you this. See in there? There, it's supposed to go a bolt through there and bolt in there. Screw in there, look, it's not tapped. So I'm gonna have to open a thread in there in order to put a bolt into it. Oh man. Oh, these little details that is time consuming and just slows down everything. Next day, and I've actually wrapped up the video yesterday, and then I was trying to edit the video, and I've realized that the image, the footage was too bad, and I didn't like it. So I was showing you the car going up and down, and I placed the camera right in this corner facing the side of the car, and it was completely dark by that time. The front of the car, because I have these lights here, you could definitely see the car going up and down, no problems. But the rear of the car was so dark at the back, you could barely tell if the car was moving. So when I was trying to edit the video last night, I just thought I'm going to scrap this end of the video and I'm going to re-record in the morning. And here I am to do it. This will also show me, will also give me the opportunity to show you that there is, or looks like there is, no other issues with this car, with the suspension. Which on these things, one of the things that usually goes as well is the bags on the suspension. They start to leak, and the car is constantly dropping, and the pump is constantly, no, maybe not constantly, but it's running more than it should to compensate, to keep the car leveled. And that is one of the things that can destroy the pumps. Luckily, or it looks like there is no leaks on this one. I'll show you in a second. But first, let me just show you that, obviously. As I said, I was already showing you the car going up and down yesterday. Just want to show you that everything is back into place. There it is. The cover, there. So everything is in place. And and the car is going up and down absolutely fine. As I said, I don't like the pump, how the pump sounds when it's under stress, when it's reaching the maximum pressure. It starts to slow down. The actual speed, you can hear the pump struggling a little bit, and I'm going to tell that exactly to the owner. I'm going to tell him that I don't think this pump will last, and he might going to have to start to save some money to get a new pump, rather than bring me 3 pumps, where one of the pumps was the pump that came out from the car, one other pump was not even for this car, so basically brought me a second-hand, used, and to be honest, not in very good shape pump. We managed to make one out of the 2 pumps, if you will, and look, I know this is not the ideal fix, but the idea here is not also to show you how to botch stuff. It's just that in a situation like this, as you have seen, all the guy needed really was a new pump, and that would have solved the problem. But let me show you that the car didn't really drop. So I left the car standing all night with this tape. If you guys follow the channel, you've seen me doing this many times in other videos, and I left this tape pretty much the way it is. It's not stretched, but the idea here is that if the car would drop, this tape would slack, and it's pretty much is actually the way I left it. Let me show you this side as well. There it is. Look, it's not stretched, because I didn't stretch the tape. I don't like to stretch the tape, because if you stretch the tape, what's going to happen is that sort of tension that you put to the tape over time will obviously stop. The tension will be reduced, and as the tension will reduce, you start to get slack on the tape. So what I do is I just pull it down. I don't really tension, I just make sure it's straight like this, and then there you go. Obviously there's other ways you can do it. You can take the measurements from the floor to the wheel arch, record them, and then measure them the following day. I just like more this visual and straight indicator that if the car is dropped or not. And let me show you also the other side. There it is, the other side, absolutely perfect. And the last one, which is this one here, perfect. With all of this said, let's go now. I think it's time for you guys to see the car actually going up and down, which is what you guys probably want to see. So let's gonna start it up. And I will show you that first of all, as you can see, the car is right where it should be, because if the car would have dropped or something like that, the car would have tried to adjust now, and as you can see, it's not trying to adjust or anything like that. Okay, and what I'm going to do now, smart key battery low. Really. Anyway, let me put the camera right there where I put it yesterday, and I'm going to show you the car going up and down. We're going to open this window because I need to have the door closed for the car to do anything. Actually, let me just close that. So I closed the door, and as you can see, still no adjustment. So that means the car was at the level it wants to be. So let me close this like so. And for you guys that are gonna say the car takes a little bit too long to raise the front, the rear goes up relatively quick. The front, as you've seen, takes a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna speed up the video or not, but if it doesn't come across on the video, let me tell you, yes, the front takes a little bit to come up. I would say I completely agree. and I do know, looking at live data, the pump is struggling to reach the pressure that is required. I believe the pressure on this is between 15 and 18 bars or something like that, and the pump really struggles to get there, and that's the reason why, if I let the pump to reach the full pressure, the tank to reach the full pressure, and then I go up and down, it does it relatively easily, but otherwise, as you've seen, takes a little bit. But this is what the guy wants. That's the parts the guy brought me. There's nothing else I can do about it. Every now and then, if I insist too much, I get a warning on the dash saying to allow the system to cool down, to raise or whatever the car. So the pump is definitely getting too hot as I start to abuse the system, if you will. But that's what it is. In the end, the idea here, guys, is to show you that the only problem with this thing was actually the pump itself, and looks like the remaining parts of the system are working absolutely fine. And I think that's it. Now we're gonna move. Let me just show you that there is no faults on the dash, of course. Let me just close the door so I can show you. So we have now a smart key battery low. I didn't have that yesterday. So you're gonna see. Come on, next issue. Okay. How do I check the warnings on this thing? Come on. I don't know. Is done? Is it gonna show the fault or not? That fault is for the engine. Restricted performance, which is the next video we are going to record, which I've showed you at the start of this video. For some reason it's not showing that fault now, but we'll get to it. So, but for this video, guys, that's it. Actually, let me quickly plug in the maxi Cs and I'll just show you that there is no faults. Okay, just to make sure that warning goes away, we're going to put a new battery, and then I will show you that the car has no faults. There is no faults now, and it's really strange that the other fault also disappeared. What the hell just happened? It was yesterday. I had the car here running for about an hour idling while I was testing it and get the pump back in, etc. And this morning I couldn't really see the fault this morning. That's why I was trying to see if I could make all the faults going away from the screen. As you can see, the one for the key is now gone as well, and the other one for the engine is also disappeared. I know what the fault was, because I've left the car yesterday, as you can see there, with one fault, which was the fault for the engine, and magically the fault is gone. I will show you what the fault was anyway. I'm gonna go for a drive and see if anything happens. It could have been that this car has been off-road for some time and moisture got into it, and you might wondering, moisture go where? I will show you what the fault was, which I'm gonna guess now is gonna be a past fault. Before I show you the engine, let me just show you that there is no faults on the suspension. At least it was not yesterday. There we go, no faults, which is good. So let me show you now the engine quickly. It looks like it's not going to be a video for it, but because the fault is gone. There we go, intermittent P2264 water in fuel sensor circuit. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on with this, but the car looks like it's fault free now. So I think I'm going to move the cars behind, go for a quick drive with this, see how the car is driving, and I will wrap up this video after this. Just make sure there's no faults, because sometimes these cars, they are okay like this, and as soon as you start to drive, as the suspension starts to work, it faults if they are not calibrated correctly or if something else is wrong. So I just want to make sure everything is good before we wrap up this. And let me take that out before I lose it again. And let's gonna go for a drive and see what happens. And that's it. As you can see, I came on these more bumpy roads to make sure the suspension would be well activated, if you will, or would travel quite a lot, to make sure the car was happy with all the calibrations and everything else. Looks like he's happy. He's not throwing any faults. As you can see, he's driving absolutely fine. And that's it. That issue on the engine with the water and fuel circuit, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. It's just cleared, and there's nothing for me to look after. After a fault that doesn't exist anymore, because I can be chasing my own tail. It could have been a glitch, which I much doubt. I'm not sure if that would mean, if that fault would mean water in the fuel. If that's the case, it says water in fuel circuit. So I don't know if something to do with the sensor that detects that, or if it was actually just saying that was water in the fuel. It could be that this thing has been stopped for some time, maybe condensation, a little bit of water in the fuel. I'm not 100% sure about that. But to be honest with you, who cares if the car is fault free? So with no further ado, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. If you do still have any questions or any comments, guys, you know how it works. Just put them right below. And like always, thanks for watching.